So I started managing this park 4 years ago, and I was working for the landowner at the time. His name was Kit Davidson, and he actually had purchased this land for $69 an acre back in the 1960s. He was looking for 5 or 10 acres, but then found this huge piece of property, an old farm for sale. And for the last couple decades, he was trying to conserve it. And he'd worked with a number of organizations, and finally it worked out for the Vermont State Parks to be able to accept the land as a donation and keep it as a park. He built the hiking trails, and he built the Japanese garden. And it's a hill and water and rock style garden, a sensui style garden. And that was something very different that the state parks had never managed before. So it took a little negotiating, but we were able to figure out how to make it fit in.
Sunshine-kissed mountains, peppered with dark green pine trees. A gentle breeze blows. Slowly the brown trees turn green. The season of spring has come. Gone are the snowcaps. Frost begins to melt away. Withered fields come back to life. Sprouting grasses say hello to greet the golden soil. Hazy moonlight glows. Spring nights lingering longer. Dawn rises early. Young salamanders float on. Shallow pond.
The brisk, brutal breeze along the snow-capped mountains. The bear stays asleep. Obscuring haze blocks the sun. Looming ice intimidates. Descending raindrops, the liquefying snowbanks. Mud-covered meadow. Chirping birds in the treetops. Peepers fill the silent night. The strawberry moon. Summer solstice has arrived. The warm air surrounds. Lethargic movements set in. The sun remains oppressive.
So the Japanese gardens that were built, the idea is that a garden is always changing under the master gardener, that it sort of has little pieces that are improving or changing over time, and that's certainly how Kit, the landowner, had created it when he and his wife Mickey got the places. And even while I was here the last 4 years, he would have ideas of new things that he wanted to build in there, and we did a couple of those over the last few years, but I can definitely see some just small changes here and there to improve it over time and to figure out how to make it sustainable with the large amount of visitation that we'll get, because it's a small space and it can get high traffic.
Footprints in the mud, sinking, warm air, birds chirping, buds bloom. The valley, blanketed, moonlight showing the way through, critters make their way. Smells bring back memories. Oh, nostalgia is a sneaky thing. Damp earth now unveiled, toes sinking into the dirt, preparing for new life. The days are getting longer. Warm season makes everything. Sunbeams blaze on down, but cool breeze interrupts, cannot feel the burn.
It's a part of Zen, from what we learn in class, is making sure that everything, when you walk into the garden, everything just looks very pristine, but you don't exactly know why. It's not obvious. So it's like really paying attention to those details that people don't necessarily always pay attention to.
We work with our groups. I'm the sun group, so some of the things I worked on with my group is clearing out the woods so that the sun could come through and bring light to certain parts of the trail. which is a practice of Zen. Zazen is like meditation and bringing your mind to ease, and I think that's kind of what the volunteering and learning about the history of Zen kind of has done, and that's what we learned about in class.
The course really wouldn't be the same without it, because it really sort of gives you a first-hand experience with what some people really do every day because of how devoted they are to this practice. So it really helps shed a bit of insight into that and how important it can be to people.
So the class, we talk a lot about the philosophy behind Zen, and part of learning Zen, I guess you could say, is finding like a Zen master and learning from them, and it's very like through action. So I think that was, so the way Markowski set up the class was kind of that he was our Zen master, and going to the Zen garden was our way of learning Zen and doing it like the hands-on way in the traditional Zen philosophy, I guess, from like Zen master to Zen pupil.
Kasulas, we ought not take the trajectory of that alien civilization that simply just engages in information gathering and intellectual edification, but that rather we should attempt to engage the subject of Buddhism or Zen Buddhism at an experiential level. And indeed, this was or is the intention behind your group work up at the Taconic Mountain Ramble.
The restless ocean, heightened by the moon's presence, are waves crest or troughs, high tides or low tides. Where does one find the center, the one who's watching?
Days grow longer now. Summer night breezes blowing. Cicadas chirping. Humid weather surrounds, taking refuge in water.
I definitely expect now that it's a park that the area will become a lot better known, it'll be publicized, and that we'll see more visitation, probably more of a diversity of visitation. We've seen people locally for sure, but I think this will get more widespread attention, and we have had people from as far away as Siberia, Germany, France. Wow. But I think that we'll see even more from far away.